everyone, Kat over here with Confessions of the Perfect Mom. I thought today we would talk about scrambled eggs. So we here at our house, we are huge egg fans. We eat scrambled eggs a lot, and we use it whether we're just eating plain scrambled eggs or if we're using it as part of a brunch with some sausage and bacon and waffles, or we actually use the same recipe if we make omelets, which is basically scrambled eggs. We love it on sandwiches, so we do a lot with scrambled eggs, and I always get complimented on my scrambled eggs, and I do it slightly different. With us being dairy-free in this house, we don't add any milk or cream or half and half or any of those sort of stuff to our eggs, which makes our eggs a little bit denser than normal scrambled eggs, but the flavor punch you get out of these is incredible. So before I get started, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notifications when I post new things, but make sure you are subscribing. That way you get lots more kitchen tips and tricks and meals and ways to make everyone happy, from toddlers all the way up. But you'll miss out if you don't subscribe, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, so today I'm just going to make a small batch of scrambled eggs. It's snack time at my house, so we're going to use it as a snack today. So the ingredients that you're going to need, of course, eggs. You'll need some eggs. You're going to need salt. You will need chili powder. You'll need paprika. And some sort of butter. Again, like I mentioned, we're dairy-free here, so we have a really great plant butter that we like. If you are not dairy-free, real butter tastes amazing in this. I kind of miss real butter, but you can use plant butter. I will say I don't like using oils for this. It tends to make my eggs oily, and I don't like it. In fact, we like our eggs really well done. So any sort of oil or messy runniness in it kind of makes my kids not eat it. So I would stay away from the oil unless you absolutely have to. Okay, so on my stove, I have my pan heating up, because you do want your pan to be hot when you dump everything in, and that way it starts frying and cooking right away. I tend to run into, if my pan is cold when I put everything in, the eggs stick really bad, and that's no fun cleaning out at any point. So I learned a spiffy trick for cracking eggs a while back from, some YouTuber that I follow, and it's that you crack them on your counter, not on the rim of your bowl. And the reason for that is that when you crack it on the side of your bowl, it's a hard crack, and you will have the possibility of getting more shell in your eggs. Whereas when you crack it just on the counter, it breaks it apart. You get this nice little indent button, and it just pulls right apart. So I don't know how you guys crack eggs, but that's how we've cracked eggs, and we actually haven't gotten any shell in our eggs since we started doing that. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're just doing 4 eggs today. So you're going to want a pinch of salt in them. It's somewhere between, an eighth and a fourth of a teaspoon. But it's really just a little pinch of it right inside. The amount of chili powder you use is going to be based on how spicy your family likes it. I tend to go a little bit heavier because, well, my kids like a little bit of spice. So you're going to want to do somewhere between like a fourth of a teaspoon and a half of a teaspoon. And you're going to want to use the same amount of paprika as you do your chili powder. So if you are a little bit on the heavier side and you use, a half or a full teaspoon, then you're going to want to use the same amount of paprika. If you're on the lighter side, use a little bit of the lighter. Okay, Now, you might be starting to mix these up and be like, oh my gosh, my eggs, yeah, they look red because, you know, your paprika's red, your chili powder's red. And I know it's really weird eating red eggs, but it cooks out and it looks like regular eggs. It won't look like red in there. And I just use a whisk. Since we are not using any cream or milk or anything in this, you want to mix them really well, almost to the point where they're slightly fluffy, because again, they will be dense or denser than traditional scrambled eggs. I always feel like there should be like music playing while I'm cooking for you guys, so you don't just have to like watch me mix stuff up. Okay, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see in there. Probably not. Maybe. You can see it's like starting to fluff. You're getting some air bubbles in there, and that's really where you want to be. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and move over to my stove so you can watch us cook this up. Alrighty, we were able to shift over here. The camera angle is kind of weird. I kind of feel like I'm going to be my back to you guys, but hopefully you'll be able to see nice and easy. So you're going to need something to scramble the eggs as they're cooking. So I have my pot or my skillet here. It's not quite hot enough yet. Again, you want it to be pretty hot, so when you drop your butter or your plant butter into it, it's going to sizzle and melt right away. Also, that's going to let you know it's hot enough to dump your eggs in there, which you're going to want to cook fairly quickly, because again, the longer it takes to cook, the more dense they are going to be, and you don't want them to be any denser than they have to. So as your eggs were sitting, you should still see a little bit of bubbles, some, I don't want to say foam, foam's kind of the wrong word for it, but you definitely want the bubbles on the top so you know that you have scrambled them enough. And for your butter, you're going to want about a tablespoon of whatever sort of butter that you are choosing to use in this. Okay, we should be pretty good. Now, for the heat of your skillet, I tend, I have a number 1 here on my glass countertop. I tend to put it at about a 4. You can do it a little bit warmer than that if you would like, but you don't want it to be so hot where it's going to burn your butter when you drop it in. You don't want your butter to get browned, at least not for this process. Okay, so I think we're pretty much there. You're going to go ahead and dump that in. Oh yes. I don't know, is my mic picking it up where you can hear the sizzle? So you're going to let this melt. If it comes off of my spatula all the way. Because again, you're not wanting it to be melting while you're cooking your eggs. We're going to let that melt. Okay. Now that we are all melted there, we're going to go ahead and dump our egg mixture into the pan. Oh, the butter looks nice. Okay. Alrighty. And once it's dumped in, you're going to be able to see it's already starting to cook around the edges. Those are going to start sizzling and popping right away, which is a good sign. So I like to just keep my spatula moving while in the pan. So I'm constantly scraping that bottom. I don't want any of my eggs to overcook. I don't want it to congeal anywhere, or worse, stick to the bottom of my pan. Okay, so like I mentioned, we like our eggs pretty well done. You can do a soft scramble if your family prefers them a little bit less done, but that's not how we like them. So you can tell that they're going to be cooked when they're no longer shiny. You don't want to have that shiny appearance to your eggs. So we are just about done here. And like I said, we like ours a little bit more well done. You probably would want to stop, you know, right about here with them looking. Oh, did you guys see that? You could probably stop right about here if you guys like them a little bit, you know, less done. See, can you guys see how those are looking? Again, my family prefers them to be a little bit more done, so we're going to cook them just like for another couple moments. Because, again, if they are wet in any way, shape, or form, my kids don't like them. They call them slimy. Okay. So, there we go. Those are looking so good. And again, you can always add more or less of the chili powder and the paprika. You really don't want to add too much more salt. One, because you don't really need that much salt in your diet. And two, because you don't want the eggs to be salty. You know, scrambled eggs are not a salty dish. So we're going to call it done right about there. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get these on a plate so you guys can see just how beautiful they have turned out. Alrighty guys, and there you have some absolutely beautiful scrambled eggs. I hope that you enjoyed and you learned something new. Let me know if you guys try it down in the comments, or let me know how you like your scrambled eggs. I'd love to hear if you guys don't like scrambled eggs but like eggs a different way. Leave me a note. Drop it down below. Tell me. Alrighty guys, subscribe, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon.